أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإذا فعلوا فاحشة قالوا وجدنا عليها آباءنا والله أمرنا بها قل إن الله لا يأمر بالفحشاء أتقولون على الله ما لا تعلمون اللهم افتح علينا حكمتك وانشر علينا رحمتك يا ذا الجلال والإكرام رب زدنا علما أجمعين اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Walaikum Assalam wa rahmatullah.
So we'll continue with our ayat number 28 today, inshallah. And so far we saw that, right in the ayat number, let's go back, that Allah that Iblis, he promised, he made a promise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he's going to go ahead and attack uh, Adam alayhi salam and his progeny from all the sides. That is right, left, forward, right, and from the front and from the back. So when he here in this is 20, huh? So here when فَوَسْوَسَ لَهُمَا الشَّيْطَانُ, so the shaitan put the waswasa in them, he tempted them, and he put what he made, but this waswasa he did لِيُبْدِيَ لَهُمَا مَا وُرِيَ عَنْهُمَا, that he revealed what was concealed from them, from their shame. Then he said, وَقَالَ مَا نَهَكُمَا رَبُّكُمَا عَنْ هَذَا الشَّجَرِ إِلَّا أَن تَكُونَا مَلَكَيْنِ. So he told them, if you go ahead and eat from this tree, it's going to make you turn into the angels, malakain. So through waswasa, he uh, misguided them. Now, what kind of, from which side did he attack Adam alayhi salam and Hawa alayhi salam? From front, right, left, or back? Because you see that we read it that what is the meaning of these directions here? Here, ثم لآتين ثم لآتينهم من بين أيديهم ومن خلفهم وعن أيمانهم وعن شمائلهم. That I'm going to go and attack them from, uh, I'm going to come to them and attack them from in front of them, in خلفهم, from behind them, أيمانهم, right, and from left. So it meant, it just doesn't mean the direction, it has a deeper meaning, right? So in front of them, from the bayna aydihim, in front of them means things would look apparent to them, and they know that this is wrong, but they will still do. Khalfihim, behind them, that would mean that they would think that these are our ideas, this is what we want, but ideally that's not what they would want. So behind that is Iblis. Aymanihim, from the right side, is the good deeds would appear real good to them, thinking that they will be proud of them, and they will have they will build they'll have they'll be egoistic about their good deeds. See how much piety we have, or in some other way, that when they are doing good deeds, they would say that the good deeds would actually be going to some remote cave and sitting there and making the tasbih there of Allah, and that's what the piety is. And that's again another misguidance. And shama'ilihim, from their left side. Left side would mean that their evil deeds that they would do would not no longer appear evil to them. They would still say that, they will come up with their own philosophies with it and normalize it. Now the question here is that this is what was the what he claimed, that I'm going to do this, Iblis. So when he attacked them and tempted them to eat the fruit, the question is, from which side of these four did he attack them from? Can anyone come up with anything answer for this question, if you understand my question? That when he told them that if you eat from the tree, that you're going to become the angels. So was it right, left, forward, or back, or from the behind? That was from the right side, right? Right side. Why? Because you become angels. Angels means that you're doing this is a good activity. If you do the good activity, that's going to go and elevate you to the higher level, right? So this is this thing. ما نهاكما ربكما عن هذا الشجر. He did not prevent you or prohibit you from eating this tree, except that you become the malakain, you become angels, and then they ate it. So this was an attack from the right side. Why am I highlighting this here? Because in the Quran or in our experiences, we should know that where is this attack from Iblis and Shaitan, all right? So we should be able to identify it because it's extremely, extremely important. So this temptation was actually from the right side here. That your good deeds, your good deed. This is a good deed that you're going to be doing, eating the apple from this tree or eating this tree, whatever that fruit was. It's not mentioned in the Quran. That, but that apple I think is mentioned in the Bible or in some I think in other books. But in the Quran, you just have the shajar. We don't know what kind of tree that was, what fruit it had, or what was in it. It's just simply mentioning here in the Quran as has his shajar. All right. So if we and then uh, the conversation goes to Ya Bani Adam, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is addressing the children of Adam alayhi salam. That's the entire humanity, right? All the people that live in the world are the children of Adam alayhi salam and Hawa alayhi salam. Then he's addressing them, Ya Bani Adam. What you need to do is, we have sent to you the libas, and also do not get tempted for the do not get fall into the temptations by shaitan, just like he tempted your parents and took them out from the Jannah. And also that's the commandment that are mentioned in these ayats. Then we have uh, here, which is going to be our ayat study today. وَإِذَا فَعَلُوا فَاحِشَةً. So fahishatan is any immodesty or vulgarity. Fahsh, right? Fahishatan. Iza is what? It's a shartiya, conditional, right? So this would mean that this is whenever we're having iza, this will always be followed by past tense, madi, right? Iza jaa nasrullahi wal fath. But the transition of that would be that will refer to mudariya. So although the tense will be past tense coming after iza, but you're going to translate it into the present tense. So when you have iza means when. So iza fa'alu would not mean when they did. It'll mean when they do. All right. So you're going to always, it's going to give the meaning of the present tense, but the verb will there be in the madi. This is after iza. All right. So now what is iza? Iza is so we have va iza. Oh, iza is zarf, right? It's an ism, and it's ism shart, and it is a zarf at the same time, right? That is zarf zaman when this happened, right? Telling you about the time. So what is a harf atf, and iza is zarf, and it's an ism, because zarf will be an ism. Zarf cannot be a harf, right? So it's ism, it is an ism zarf, and it is ism shart. It's a condition. Now, whenever we're having condition, we'll have the conditional clause, and we will have the jawabu shart. All right, the answer for that. So that'll again be the verb. So wherever we're having this kind of a situation, there would be two verbs coming, or we can say the two clauses. So the first clause of this is going to be this portion. So this is the first portion of it. All right. And then the second portion, that's going to be the jawab shart, is going to be this portion. Hold on. I'll write it in a different color. Like this, all right? And then you have a va, so this will again continue from here. So we have وَإِذَا فَعَلُوا فَاحِشَةً. So when they commit fahisha, immodesty or vulgarity. So whenever they do, when they commit a fahisha, which is an evil deed, all right? So now, before this, the address was in the previous ayat was to who? Was to Bani Adam, Ya Bani Adam. Now, وَإِذَا فَعَلُوا, who are these people? So these are all the people who commit bad activities. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala using the pronoun against them, right? Those people who commit for evil deeds, or fahisha would be immodesty or vulgarity. All right. When they commit any vulgarities and immodesties, what happens? They say, qalu. See, now qalu, you say they said, but here you're not going to say they said, because Iza is already in the beginning, right? And you have two past tenses. So we're going to say, so we'll say when they commit fahisha, they say, what do they say? They say, wajadna, we found. Alayha aba'ana. This is what they say. All right, they say, we found. Wajada yajidu. Wajadna alayha aba'ana. We found our fathers doing it, or our fathers on it. That means our fathers, our forefathers. Aba is plural of abun. So it's actually like this. I'm writing it here on the left hand side. Ba, like this, right? Ba mansub here, all right? So what happens? These two, we're going to put them together and put a mud on it, all right? So write them together, and instead you're going to put a mud on it, becomes aba. So that's the mansub, because this is the maf'ulun bihi, all right? Like this. Aba. In this script, it's written like this: Hamza with a fatha and alif. But if you see the other script that we have here, this one, here you can see that it's written like Aba, like an alif with a short mad here. And why we have the other mad here is because there is a Hamza and alif together, right? So this mad will only there will be in the Quran, right? If the same word appeared in any newspaper, it'll be without this stretched mud, right? It'll be simply aba'ana. So aba'ana would be our forefathers. Aba'ana, and this is the maf'ulun bihi. So fahishatan wa iza fa'alu fahishatan. Let's go back to our this one. Wa iza fa'alu fahishatan. Why is fahishatan mansub? This is the maf'ulun bihi, right? Maf'ulun bihi for the verb fa'alu. What is qalu? This is the jawabu shart. Fi'lu shart, right? Fi'lu shart, and this is the jawabu shart from here. And we know that jawabu shart will have a fa in certain cases. If it's a jumla ismiya, then you're going to put a fa there. But because this is a verbal sentence here, starting with qalu, so we're not going to put fa there at all. So you should know that when the jawab shart gets a fa, so have it handy always with you, all right? The list of all those scenarios where the jawab shart gets a fa on it. It's again an important thing. And here, because it's verbal sentence, so no fa on it. Wajadna, so what's qalu? Jawab shart. And it's fi'l madin, right? At the same time. Wajadna is again fi'l mad, and what's the file here? Na. Na is the file, right? Like fa'alna. Alayha, mafulun bihi, right? Mafulun bihi, we found on it. Again, mafulun bihi, two mafuls we have here. Alayha, this is actually jar majroor. We found on it aba'ana. This is our object. Aba'ana in idafa construction. The mafulun bihi. So, and then wallahu amarana biha. And this is jumla ismiya now, right? After harf atf wa, this is jumla ismiya because it starts with the noun, which is lafzul jalala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? And this is the mubtada. It's mubtada marfu. And amarana is a khabar, right? So we have one khabar and two khabars here. Other khabar is a jar majroor, and this khabar is amarana. It's a verbal sentence. Amarana means he ordered us. Amara is a verb, and na is the mafulun bihi. All right. So this amara, who is the file of it? Huwa. All right. And that huwa is going to lafzul jalala Allah, right? Amarana biha. So Allah, so they say that, so whenever they commit, when they commit a fahisha, evil deed, all right, and any immorality acts, they say we found our fathers doing it, or I can say forefathers doing it, or fathers doing it, and that Allah has commanded us of it. Amara means to command. Now, whenever you are having the verb amara, now remember this point also. Certain verbs which are quite common, for example, commonly will come in the Quran, like amana, amana, for example, imana, the word related, the verb related to iman, or word related to amara, for example. So they will always have their object with a bi. So amara bi. So it's not amara, amaraha, or something like that. You can see this bi here. All right. So it'll have with a bi there always, like amantu billahi. You don't say amantu Allah. I believe in Allah. How do you say I believe in Allah? I don't say amantu Allah. You say even in English you say I believe in Allah, right? So amantu billahi. So certain verbs, common ones here. I'm telling you a few here. One is amara, another is amana, and also we have kafara, right? They will come. So whenever they come, that point, that time, it's going to get further clarified. And but you should remember them. They accept their object with a B. So Allah ordered us. Amarana, yeah, ordered us on this. And see, there is one more point I would like to tell you, that when the ayats were revealed, no doubt they have a particular context also, right? For example, that's known as Shan Nuzul. What was happening at that time? And based on that, it's uh, addressing that activity was going on that time. But at the same time, they are universal. Universal means at any point in life, in time, the ayats can get applied. So no doubt when this ayat is there, ways of fahishatan, it's a universal thing. Like whenever they commit any immorality or activity like this, they say, oh, we found our forefathers doing it. But at the same time, with respect to this, at that time, during the time of Prophet ﷺ, some people in Makkah, they used to do the tawaf of Kaaba without clothes. They would think that this is some good act we are doing. If we go ahead and do the tawaf of the Kaaba without wearing any clothes, that's going to bring us nearer to God and make our God happy, the God of the Kaaba. So they would say that when we tell them, so this is a fahisha activity you're doing, right? This is an immoral activity that you're doing. This is not what Allah commanded. They say that we found our forefathers doing it, and that's what Allah commanded. That's what they would give the argument. Like you have the arguments nowadays, people telling you that we found our forefathers doing some immoral activities, we'll just do it, just because they don't have any solid reason for it, except that we found forefathers doing it, and this is what we have been commanded. And in next ayat, you have, in fact, in the same ayat, you have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying qul. So wherever there is a qul coming in the Quran, right, always keep that in mind, that there is some sort of a claim made by people, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling Prophet to respond to these people. Qul, say to them, O people, like Qul hu Allahu ahad. There's a person saying, define Allah. What is Allah? Where is He? So Prophet will be thinking, what I'm going to tell him, that the attributes of Allah. Allah is that if you bring all the trees of the world and make them pen, and collect all the sea water and ocean water, and make that an ink, and start writing the attributes of Allah, and glorify Allah, the words of Allah are never going to get finished. So Prophet what is he going to answer? And right then the wahi comes, Qul huwallahu ahad. Right? Tell him that Allah is one and only, like that. So wherever there is a qul coming, wherever, so there is some claim made by a people, made by the set of people, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends the wahi and tells Prophet to answer them like this. So when people were saying like this, that we found our forefathers doing it, right? Any fahisha in general also, because you can see fahisha here is indefinite. So when we say that, is it referring just to the tawaf that the people used to do, then it would not be restricted to that, obviously, right? Fahisha then is indefinite, any sort of fahisha act. So qul inna Allah la ya'muru bil fahsha. Say, O Prophet, that indeed Allah la ya'muru, Allah does not order fahsha. He does not command any immoral acts. He never commands fahisha, right? Again, you see, why is this be here? Because we have an amara. Amara ya'muru, AU group. Amara ya'muru. So this la is la annahiya. Now let's analyze this sentence here. So you have inna. So qul is what? Amr, right? Fil amr. And then we have, this is what is the command, what we're supposed to tell. Qul inna harfu tawqid wa nasb. What is lafzul jalala Allah? It is the ismu inna, right? Mansub. And then la ya'muru is a jumla fi'liya here. And this is the khabaru inna. All right? This is the khabaru inna, which is jumla fi'liya. And bil fahsha is the mafulun bihi here. And we have the mafulun bihi. Why is it with the bi? Because amara ya'muru accepts its mafulun bihi with a bi. Right? Certain verbs need a preposition for the mafulun bihi. And we have this in the form of jar majrur. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never does not or never orders al fahsha, right? It's fahsha. So this is plural here, fahsha. Ataquluna ala Allahi ma la ta'lamun. Do you say, do you talk about Allah? Do you say of Allah what you do not know? Ataquluna. So what's this? This is harfu istifham, right? It is a question. As we know that in Quran, you will not have a question mark here at the end. There is no punctuation in the Quran, right? This is the harfu istifham. Ataquluna, taqulu, very easy, right? فعل مضارع مرفوع وعلامة رفعه ثبوت النون. Who is the file? Wow. Do you speak Allah? Do you speak about Allah? This would be jar majroor. Ma, what is this ma? What? La ta'lamun. What you do not know. La ta'lamun. So la is harfu nafyin. And what is this ma? Ma means simply we know that there are 10, I think more than 10 types of ma. But this ma here is not istifham. Remember that point. This is not ma istifham. This is mausul. Right? Allazi, the one what. Right? Or what. When I say the one what, that will be allazi. But this is mausul, a relative pronoun. Quite similar to that of allazi. So ataquluna alallahi ma la ta'lamun. But translation would be same ma. Do you speak of Allah? Do you say of Allah what you do not know? All right, but this ma is what? Ma, this is ism mawsul, ma mawsula. And this is again the maf'ulun bihi for the verb taqulun. Do you speak of Allah what you do not know? What you do not know is the maf'ulun bihi, right? Like I said, do you speak of Allah? What is speak of Allah? This. So that's the object, maf'ulun bihi. So ma la ta'lamun, all of it again say is an object. Or simply if you grammatically you will just say ma is the object and this one is the relative clause. If this is a relative pronoun, relative clause is obviously attached to it. Just like you have an idafa construction, right? When you have idafa, you say it's marfu if mudaf is marfu, even though mudaf is majroor, but you will say idafa construction is marfu because they're together. So in the same way, when you have a clause, relative pronoun and relative clause, they are both together. So grammatically here in this case, you will say ma is the mafulun bihi and la ta'lamun is the relative clause of it. All right. So this is about ayat number 28. Then we have qul. Again, another qul we have here. So another thing, another qul. Qul, now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Qul amara rabbi bil qist. Now remember this ayat, uh, how many letters? Sorry, how many words? Only 4 words are there. So never forget this. Qul amara rabbi bil qist. Say, O Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that Allah has ordered al qist. What's qist? Justice. This is extremely important because you see that the word amara here, amara means to order, command. Now, when we say that, we know the ayat from the Quran, like the ayat of uh, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded us to fast, to do roza. What is the ayat there? Anyone remembers? The ayat wherein it is mandatory or this is farz, obligatory to do fast. Do anyone remembers the ayat? Anyone has the ayat? What is the ayat that tells us to fast? Anyone memorizes that ayat? So the ayat is, yes, anyone wants to try?
Is it in Surah Bakara, Master?
Yeah, what's the ayat? You know that ayat? It is in Surah Baqarah, right? The ayat that tells us to fast says its fasting is obligatory.
First word only is not coming.
Sorry?
The first word is not coming.
First word, everything is in the first word. Right. So the ayat is, yes,
184, Surah 184, na?
ayat 184. What's the
وَأَن
ayat? What's the ayat?
تَصُومُوا وَأَن تَص
Sorry.
وَأَن تَصُومُوا خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ إِن كُنتُمْ. Ayat
No,
is
no, the ayat is the other one. It starts with kutiba alaykumus siyam kama kutiba ala allazina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. That fasting is made obligatory on you, like it was made obligatory or prescribed for you, right? Kutiba alaykumus siyam. It's a very famous ayat, right? So in that ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, kutiba alaykumus siyam. I don't remember what's the ayat number. It's kutiba alaykumus siyam. So this is passive. Ku kutiba, right? Kutiba alaykum siyam. So, so what is kutiba? It is passive. The verb is kataba yaktubu. That is active voice. What's the meaning of kataba yaktubu? Kataba yaktubu means to write, right? Kataba yaktubu means to write. Kutiba means it was written, right? The the doer of the action is not specified here, right? When we use a passive, we know how passive works, right? Right? He was killed. He was. This was eaten, for example. So in the same way, when we say kutiba, it's passive. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says kutiba alaykumus siyam. So you'll find the transitions here, not it is written, but you'll say it's prescribed, like the doctor prescribes medicine for you, or doctor or somebody we say is prescribed. So what he does, he writes it. So you have kutiba alaykumus siyam. But in many translations, you'll find that the fasting is made obligatory. Fasting is farz on you. In Urdu translation, you'll say farz on you. So, which is fine. I mean, but what I'm saying is looking at the linguistic perspective, looking at it from a linguistic perspective, when you say kutiba, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not say furida. Furida is also a word. Fard, farada, right? To make something fard. Like, what was that surah? Yesterday I was reading it. Uh, it is the first ayat of Surah Nur, right? You have the word farada there. That the word farz is there. Farz means किसी चीज को फर्ज करना, to make it obligatory. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala again did not use the word farad there, that the fasting is made fard on you. All right, another word we have amara. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered, right? Or umira. Uh, umira alaykum siyam. That fasting, you are commanded to do fasting. Now, try to understand what I'm trying to tell you here is the word amr means to command. And with respect to the command, that word command is used for what? It's not used, fasting is so important, right? But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used the word kutiba on it, that it's prescribed for you. And the scholars would say that something that is very difficult, another way to put it like is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you'll see that in the Quran, it's kutiba alaykum al-qital, kutiba alaykum al-siyam. Although it does mean it's obligatory on you, but this is, saying in more, what I say, affectionate way. So that something that is really tough to do. But if you see that something here is amara, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded to do justice. So the word for justice we have insaf. We use the word insaf for justice, right? That is nisf. Give this person half, that person half. This insaf, but that's not the word used here. Uh, Another word is adl. Adl is also doing the justice. But you see the word qist is here. Qul amara rabbi bil qist. So if there is anything that Allah has ordered, and you see the word amara with the command, what word is with it? It's qist. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordered al qist. He has ordered justice. وَأَقِيمُوا وُجُوهَكُمْ عِنْدَ كُلِّ مَسْجِدٍ وَادْعُوهُ مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ كَمَا بَدَعَكُمْ تَعُودُونَ. Now, if you see in the previous ayat, what we did study, what came in the previous ayat, is that they commit immoral acts, they commit vulgarity, indecent acts, and then they say we found our fathers doing it, and then they also say that that's important. They also say that it is Allah subhanahu wa taala who commanded us this, right? So Allah says He does not command injustice. He does not command fahsha, right? Instead, what does Allah command? He does not commit vulgarity, indecency. He does not. command that you go ahead and take off your clothes, right? He does not command that. Instead, what Allah commands is al-qist. He commands justice. Now we see this is the what we call is there is a counter argument. Allah does not command this. He in fact commands al-qist. He commands justice to do. And another thing that Allah is commanding is aqimu wujuh. Now let's look at this first. So we have amara. It is a verb. What verb is this? Amara. And we have al-qist. See again bi. So with amara you have bi there as its object, right? Bil qist. Rabbi is my Lord. So this is the file, right, of this verb. Rabbi appears to be majroor, but it's not majroor, right? It's kasra there because there is a ya mutakallim coming. My Lord, my Rabb. So this is actually marfu bi dhamma muqaddara, right? It's muqaddara. And this kasra is because of ya mutakallim. That's the reason why we had to give a kasra to facilitate the reading. We know that already. But this Rabbi is the file of Amara. So that's the first thing Allah is commanding. He is ordering this. And second thing is وَأَقِيمُوا وُجُوهَكُمْ. What is wujuh? Wujuhun means your faces, right? Wajhun is the singular and wujuhun is the plural. Now wajhun does not have a ta marbuta. Many times we make a mistake. We say wajhun. So it's wajhun. No ta marbuta. It's a ha, no ta marbuta. Wajhun means a face. Wujuhun is the plural. Wujuhun. All right, with the ta, no ta marbuta. All right, it is a ha. All right, so wujuhun. Wa aqimu wujuhakum. What's the meaning of wujuhakum? Your faces. All right, wujuhakum. Now we have the verb this akimu. Can anyone tell me what form is this? Is this form 1 or which one? Anyone? It is form 4. What is it? Verb is qama. Qama is form 1. And then when you bring this in form 4, it becomes aqama. Aqama yuqimu. Right? Form 4. So it becomes aqimu. So aqimu is, what is aqimu? It is fi'l amr. What is it? Fi'l amr. Remember that is fi'l amr and this is from form 4. And then we have wujuhakum is the object. Maf'ulun bihi. Your faces. Wa aqimu wujuhakum inda kulli masjid. Now with respect to masjid, here in this case, masjid would not just be the place of worship. We know masjid is a place of worship, but because this is what? This is the noun of place as well as noun of time, right? On the scale of maf'al or maf'il. So this is both here, either one. I mean, both ones we can keep. That masjid is the place as well as the time of sajda or time of ibadah, right? Masjid would be the place where we worship and the time of worship. So here is both. وَأَقِيمُوا وُجُوهَكُمْ عِنْدَ كُلِّ مَسْجِدٍ وَادْعُوهُ مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ. So what is harf atf? So this is another commandment from our Lord that we are akimu would simply that we set that akimu wujuhukum that you set, right, the faces in the kulli masjid at every place of worship or even at the time of worship, that you face the Kaaba. That's what it would mean, that at every place or time that you're going to go ahead and face the Kaaba, that that you should face him only, right, and worship none but Allah. So in the place of worship as well as the time of worship, right? Wadu'uhu, da'a yadu'u means to call, right, and or invoke him. Wadu'uhu mukhlisin Allahu din. Mukhlisin akhlasa yukhlisu, right? Although we're going to complete this ayat inshallah tomorrow, but this is again Akhlasa yukhlisu. Right? Let me write it here for you. So if we have yukhlis, this is mudari'a form for yukhlisu. Akhlasa yukhlisu means ikhlas, like sincerity. Akhlasa yukhlisu. So if I have to make this form for verb into active participle, ismul fa'il. Can anyone make ismul fa'il of yukhlisu?
Mukhlisun.
Mukhlisun, mashallah, good. Mukhlis, right? We know mukhlis word, right? Mukhlis means somebody who is sincere. Mukhlisun. And plural of mukhlisun is going to be mukhlisun, right? Mukhlisun, and it's going to be mukhlisin. All right. So the same word we have here, mukhlisin. All right. Mukhlisina lahuddin. وَأَقِيمُوا وُجُوهَكُمْ عِنْدَ كُلِّ مسجد وَادْعُوا الدَّاعَ يَدْعُو udu'u. Who is the attached pronoun mafulun bihi for the ayadu, that wadu mukhlisina lahuddin, and that you invoke him only, and you make your deen, your religion, sincere to him. How do you make it sincere to him? By not joining any partners to him, right? With the intention that you're doing your deeds only for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All right. Ad-Din is another word that needs some details. What is Ad-Din? We have Maliki Yawmiddin. That time we say Deen is Day of Judgment. Here we say it is religion. So how do we differentiate? Inshallah, we're going to study that tomorrow. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum.
Ustad, recorded you are putting on the
Yes.
Tiny URL.
Yes.
But I didn't find. Okay, you already done?
Yes, it is there. I'll share in the group.
Okay.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.